Let's talk about the story of Sentry in the comics. Sentry was created by Paul Jenkins and Jay Lee and was introduced in 2000 as a superhero with the power of a million exploding suns. According to the retcon, he had always existed in the Marvel Universe, but for some reason, everyone forgot about him. Sentry, also known as Robert Reynolds, operated as a superhero for years, working with the Fantastic Four, the Hulk, X-Men, Spider-Man, and the Avengers. However, the arrival of the Void, the dark alter ego of Sentry created by Robert's repressed persona, changed everything. Hell, before that even had his own sidekick named Scout, a watchdog, a watchtower, and a robot helper named Clock, CLOC. When the Void arrived, the Void killed a million people in Manhattan, which forced the heroes to come together and wipe Sentry and the entire world's memory of his existence. Sentry remained dormant for years until his memories began to return, which also triggered the return of the Void. The Void attempted to destroy the world once again, and this prompted Sentry to erase his memories once again. Years later, Sentry regained his memories and decided to surrender and imprison himself, claiming that he had killed his wife. He was present during the formation of the New Avengers, where he took Carnage into space and ripped it apart. Eventually, the new Avengers confronted him, and with the help of Emma Frost from the X-Men, they helped him realize that the reason the world forgot him was due to the criminal mastermind and not his own actions. He was reunited with his wife Lindy, who was revealed to be alive, and joined the new Avengers as a reserve member. Despite reclaiming his life, Robert's psychological problems continued to worsen. This resulted in a new battle between Sentry and the Void, as Reynolds pretended to be a superhero who had the Void under control. But this was not true. You see, this is when Robert Reynolds discovered the truth about his origin story, that he was a naive kid who somehow stumbled into a professor's lab and drank a serum that gave him superpowers. No, he was an addict who stole the serum to get high. This serum was meant to be a supersaturated version of the super soldier serum, which would have worked on literally anyone. Realizing that there was nothing special about him, Sentry threw the void into the sun, declaring that it was no longer needed, even though the void said that it would return eventually. Sentry joined Iron Man's team during the Superhuman Civil War and subsequently joined the Mighty Avengers as well. His marriage took a turn for the worse when he accidentally overheard Lindy telling Iron Man to find a way to depower him or kill him before he destroys the entire world. Sentry battled the Hulk when Hulk came to Earth seeking revenge on the Illuminati for their actions, and it ended in a stalemate. As his mental state deteriorated, the Void took over again, while Robert Reynolds convinced himself that the Void didn't exist. He then joined the Dark Avengers under Norman Osborn. As his condition continued to worsen, his wife attempted to kill him but failed, which led the Void to try to kill her. This resulted in a fierce battle between Sentry and the Void. Under orders from Norman Osborn, Bullseye decided to kill Sentry's wife Lindy, and this caused the Void to gain control, and he participated in the siege of Asgard, killing Ares, Loki, and nearly destroying the entire world before the heroes managed to fight back. Thor ultimately killed the Void, and a funeral was held for the troubled hero. Sentry stayed dead for a few years before he was resurrected as a horseman of death by Apocalypse. In the aftermath, he sought ways to end his own life before Doctor Strange offered him a solution. Doctor Strange managed to trap the Sentry within his own mindscape, and since he was trapped, Sentry experienced peace until Strange decided to unleash the Void to combat Loki. Disappointed with Strange's decision, Robert decided to leave Strange's care and live a normal life while Sentry was controlled by the Mindscape. This didn't last long as his former sidekick Scout attempted to steal his powers, unintentionally merging Sentry and the Void into a new version of Sentry. Eventually, Sentry traveled to the negative zone to find a way to escape the Void and succeeded in separating Bob from the Void. However, this caused the Void to take over the Cancerverse and threaten the negative zone and eventually the positive zone, aka Earth. Though the heroes managed to stop him, Sentry chose to stay behind to watch over the world he almost destroyed. Sentry eventually returned to Earth and faced off against Null, the symbiote god, who killed him just as he had once killed Carnage. Since then, Sentry has remained dead in the comics, though he interacted with the Valkyries as a ghost who helped him move on to the afterlife. After his death, Kingpin hunted his body, which was later used by a mystical order known as the Blasphemy Cartel as a vessel for their own dark magic. His powers were fragmented and distributed among various people on Earth, sparking the rise of new superheroes. Well, not exactly superheroes, but superhuman beings with the power of the Sentry. One of them, Ryan Topper, managed to eliminate all the others before being stopped by the only other survivor named Mallory Gibbs, who became the superhero known as Solaris, continuing the legacy of the Sentry. That marks the entire journey of Sentry across the Marvel Universe over the past 25 years. I'm sure he will make his return from the dead sometime in the future, and I hope they manage to do something interesting with him when he does return. I feel like the problem with Sentry has always been the inherent challenge of dealing with such a ridiculously overpowered character who is limited only by his own mental health struggles. But hey, thank you for listening, and that was the story of the Sentry.